Hi guys, it's Mrs. Hopkins, your favorite art teacher, and I have got a project for you. This is straight off of the Facebook in my art teaching group, and the wonderful art teacher shared exactly how she made this. So this is a real Starbucks cup, this is a real Starbucks lid, and this is a really fake beverage. We are going to be learning all about pop art and what is popular in culture and how we can actually make art with that. Because you see people have these everywhere and you might think that's not art, but it totally is. You will get to design your own beverage and your own toppings, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be your signature 5th grade Starbucks beverage. And I can't wait to show you some of the ideas that I had, and I can't wait to hear some of the ideas that you had. So we're gonna walk through this process. I'm gonna show you what we're doing on which day, and it's gonna be awesome. First day that you do your project, we will create the cup. You will have your name on it and whatever color you'd like to have for your drizzle or drip inside, because as you notice, this one has multiple colors. So I did a kind of a caramel and a dark chocolate color on the first day. I had to let that dry, because if I paint the kind of milky chocolate color right here that reminds me of hot cocoa, if I try to paint that on the first day, it's just gonna smear these, and I wanted them to have a solid line, just like some syrup that you'd have all around the edge. That's why for this like mint chocolatey chip color, this has to be there on day one. I also want this one to have a really heavy look of whipped cream at the top, like there's a lot of foam at the top. So both of those get painted on day one. My hands are really messy, as you can tell. The second thing that you could probably have time for is you're gonna cut out or be given one of these circles. These are gonna be the little coffee toppers. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna trick our audience. We're gonna secure these at the top with either hot glue with me or some Elmer's glue, but I'm thinking it's a hot glue with Miss Hopkins time. I'll have a center set up. You'll come visit me. It'll be great. That'll probably be glued together on the second day of the project, but on the first day, you're gonna keep these separate, 2 different things. You will have your Model Magic topper, and I have a video that will show you exactly how to make this. This is your whipped cream. This one has fake chunks of old Model Magic to look like some maybe chunks of brownie and some caramel drizzle. And I have a real fake straw. This one you have to be careful because with your dome cup lid, kind of have to make sure it was gonna fit in there. And so this one, it does. I would keep your straw towards the center. This one's kind of angled a little bit. I had to push it back. It wants to keep falling down. If you don't have a straw, don't worry. We can always poke a hole after this is dry and add your straw later. It might be a better choice for some of you guys, but we're only gonna use part of a straw. Like I cut this one in half and the other half is right here. You might be wondering, how are we going to, make sure none of this falls apart? The lid, and I can show you in this one, will just snap off. So this one has this secured. I'm thinking we're gonna have our white circle base glued in here, and this will go on top. Either way, as long as we use enough glue, you'll be good. Alternatively, and this is my method for tonight, we're staying late and trying, this is not whipped cream. It does shake a little bit. It is a puffy paint mixture. So we're gonna test this one overnight. Some classes may use the puffy paint instead of the Model Magic. This one has fake chocolates, little curls, which you'll create by twisting a pencil sharpener. There's their fake chocolate. I also have the Amazon sprinkles. Thank you to anyone that's donated to my Amazon wish list. I appreciate you and our kids appreciate you. So at the end of day one, this is what I like. And you'll notice that our class code and our name goes on the bottom of this one. So these will just sit up on the cabinet or a shelf to dry until we are together next time and everything is dry and ready to be glued together. Lots of fun. I cannot wait to create these pop art Starbucks fake drink sculptures with you. See you in the art room. Okay, it is day 1 of our project. Get your name on your Starbucks cup. Don't forget to put your class code. You can do it under your name or even at the bottom. It is up to you. You have to decide what colors you'd like to see on the outside of your main coffee or hot cocoa or tea color. So these would be like the syrups that you'd see dripped down along the inside of the cup. You need to do these first because they need to have a whole day to dry before you do the main color of your liquid. I'm going to choose light blue. You could choose a second color as well. You'll see me tapping the cup. I'm letting gravity pull some of that thin acrylic paint down towards the bottom where it will pool up at the bottom. And it gives that really drippy, really natural and realistic look. If you don't let this dry and you try to paint your main color right away, obviously those colors are going to mix around and smear, and that might not be something you're happy with. I'm being really careful as I add my section of foam. I want a lot of foamy whipped cream looking like it's resting at the top of this cup. So I'm using a thick brush with thick white acrylic paint. Remember, boys and girls, acrylic is not washable out of your clothes. It'll come out of hair, it'll come out of skin. Don't worry about that. Your clothes, probably not coming out of. So be careful, be mindful with that. Also, wash those brushes. I am going to get my circle. I'm going to make sure I put my information on the back, plus my class code. This will get stored right next to my cup. So they'll get stored together, they'll dry together. And so for this one, I want to do this whipped topping. I'm going to use this big chunk of Model Magic, and I'm going to roll out a long coil, okay? Sorry if the table's a little bit shaky. I have a guest in here watching. And you'll notice I'm using a dirty table, and I probably should have cleaned this off because the Model Magic is soaking up any color that's left on the table. So I'm just kind of moving this to a cleaner area. And I'll be using my Elmer's glue for sure if I'm wanting to put any toppings on this so it can dry. And I'll probably grab my straw. Remember, we're gonna have straws that are kind of cut down smaller. You don't have a real size straw. So as I get this, my coil, if you were here in 4th grade at Hancock Creek, we did these Model Magic Sundays. And so we were really good at curling the whipped cream. So I don't want to make this tall, but I do want to make this large enough so it'll fit around the whole circumference of that paper circle that I have. So this one here is super flat unless I pick it up and push it up. So I'm sticking my fingers on the side, and I am just gonna smush down the edges into the paper a little bit. And you're gonna see there's a little bit of pink because that's what was on the table. So I still have it pretty tall. And if this cup was dry, it would sit just kind of like this. If I'm wanting this to be taller, I'm gonna have to either borrow Model Magic from a friend or have a little bit more towards the center. If you don't glue this, then you can pull it right back off. It shouldn't rip the paper, it hasn't been. And you can roll it out and you can start over. So now I'm gonna try to make it a little bit taller. And if your Model Magic gets discolored, maybe you had something on your hand that you weren't quite aware, then we can always paint it white, before we commit and call it a day. So you can always touch it up. This one's picking up quite a bit of color. You must have had some red paint flakes around, so I'm not worried. I can also cover this with a fake syrup and nobody will know. All right, so this one's pretty tall. I'm just gonna twist it down. Remember, my Starbucks cup lid has a hole. So if you make it too tall, it'll pop out of the hole. It'll be a little bit strange. So I think I'm gonna stick with this one right here, this shape here. And I'm gonna add a little bit of glue. My Elmer's. Just spread that out with my finger just so I know I go to the edges. I've got my little paper towel over here to clean my finger. And I'm just gonna let this sit Now, you can keep this with you. I'm okay with that, so you can kind of see exactly where it's gonna be, but we don't really wanna connect these today, okay? So we'll have a couple of these. This one you can see has been used and abused. It's got paint all over it. I would not connect this today. I think this just needs to sit today. Remember, on the back of this, it's got my information plus my class code. And now I can make some decisions about toppings, like what do I want on this? So if you're wanting yours to have some kind of chocolate shaving, this was done with a metal pencil sharpener and a brown crayon. How fun was that? We also have sprinkles we can add. There's lots of things that we will have as options. I even found this old chopped up Model Magic. We could rip this, tear this, use our scissors with this, and put it into like brownie bites. So I think I might do that. That would be something that I either color with a marker and add in, and that would be an instant thing. So I might get my brown Crayola markers out and make a few of these brownie bites, okay? So I want some good contrast up against the white, all right? And I'll glue those on with the Elmer's glue. So these are two things you can create on day one of this project that you will be ready to put together on day 2. So you can paint this inside on day 2, and you can probably have this bad boy glued and put together on day 2 as well. Lots of fun.